I'm Tara and welcome to my first ever Crafting with Curly Cues video. I'm really excited to be making craft videos. I watch them on YouTube religiously, so I can't wait to be part of this amazing crafty community. Today I'm going to make a card featuring a die cut hello, and I'm going to start with this mint green pastel glitzy paper from Die Cuts with a View. I love this pad. There's a few different colors, really great options. It really adds some bling to your project. And then I'm going to take this paper pad by My Mind's Eye, and I picked this really fun kind of quotation mark paper that accents with the glitzy one that I picked out. And then I have this really amazing die cut from Spellbinders that's got this fabulous like confetti falling from the corner, and it just cuts all those little circles out of your paper. And then I'm going to use this scripty hello. I don't know what company that hello is from, but there's a lot of great scripty word dies out there, so just find whichever one works well for you. So I cut the rectangle out of the glitzy paper, and then I cut the amazing part with all those falling confettis out of that paper from My Mind's Eye. And I also cut a die cut hello out of the glitzy paper as well. So now I'm just taking my craft knife and poking out all the little confetti holes from that die cut. And you can see that it really looks great when it ends up behind the other paper. So now I'm taking that hello that I die cut out of that glitzy paper, and I'm just picking out all the inside pieces of that die cut, and it takes a little bit of work because that glitzy paper has a plastic backing to add stabilization to all the glitter that's on there, so it was definitely a little bit of a trick to maneuver that and get all those little pieces out of there, but it was really worth it. I think that it looks really fabulous when it's all done. So I'm just continuing to pick out all those pieces, and when I die cut this piece with my Big Shot, I also die cut a scripty hello out of a piece of black craft foam, and I did that with my Big Shot the same as I would paper. I used the same plates and sandwich that I would for any normal paper, and it turned out beautiful, and it goes right behind the hello, and that's going to provide dimension without me needing to cut a bunch of little tiny pieces of foam tape to get that to pop up. So here is that black craft foam hello here, and I'm just popping the middle pieces out of that as well. This craft foam you can just get at the craft store or even your local Walmart grocery store. It's the same stuff that you'd use to maybe do crafts with your kids. A lot of people call it fun foam. It works really well to add dimension and a little bit of pop to your cards. So you can see how that just fits beautifully right behind there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and start assembling some of these pieces so that I can see how it's coming together. So I just use my tape runner and put a lot of adhesive on the back of this front panel, and then just adhere it to that glitzy green piece there. I love the way these little dots look poking out in that pattern paper. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to take my scissors and trim up the edges because I can't seem to ever line anything up correctly. That is one of my chronic crafty problems, but you know, fortunately it's an easy fix. It's like I always tell my 8-year-old when she crafts with me, there's nothing in crafting that can't be fixed. So go ahead and trim those up there, and then what I'm going to do is kind of start looking at how things are going to come together. Well, first I'm going to go ahead and put this scripty hello onto that craft foam, and I just use my tape runner for that as well. You could also use a liquid adhesive, whatever you're more comfortable working with. I haven't had any problem using the tape runner to do this, so that's the way I prefer to do it. I get really messy with the liquid adhesives, but you just line that up really carefully. I like the way that it kind of adds a little bit of shadow. I apologize I went out of frame here. Again, this is my first video. I'll get better as I do more of these, I promise. So I went ahead and lined that up really nicely, and you can see how that just adds that really great dimension. It's really cool. So here I'm going to kind of start looking at how the card is going to come together, and I decided at this point that I would like some white dash lines. So I took my Signo Uniball pen and got it started on my finger. A really good tip for that pen is to always make sure that you get it warmed up a little bit. And I started out really ambitious here, and I decided to use my T-square to make sure that my dash lines were perfectly straight. And I did one side that way, and then I decided that I didn't have the patience to do that with the rest of the sides, so I just went ahead and did some free line dashes there. It's just freestyle. As long as you get them as straight as you can, nobody's going to notice if it's not perfectly straight, and it just adds that little finishing touch to the card. So now that I've gotten that all taken care of, I've decided that that green glitzy hello kind of got lost a little bit in that busy background with all those pretty sequin sparkly dots coming through. So I'm looking in that same My Mind's Eye 6x6 paper pad for a piece of paper that I can make a banner out of to kind of offset that hello a little bit. And I've chosen this kind of ombre pink paper just because it's going to provide some solid contrast to that really busy background. So now I'm just going to take my paper trimmer and trim up a banner out of this paper. Again, I apologize, I'm off frame, but oh, there, I realized it. Put it back in frame there. So I'm just cutting out a banner, just trimming that up. I don't even think I measured it first. I just kind of started cutting and then I work with it from there. So now I'm going to go ahead and put that on my card and decide kind of what I want to do with that and how that's going to fit. And I did decide to cut it the way that you still get the ombre effect going sideways there. So now I'm going to cut a banner. Great way to do that is one slit right up the middle and then just go ahead and cut from the corners up to the top of your slit, and that's going to give you a nice even banner cut every time. So that's the way that I prefer to make those banner edges. Now I'm going to take this stamp set from Close to My Heart and use this beautiful little arrow here to kind of add some accent. It's like a hand-drawn kind of doodly arrow, so I felt like it went really well with the paper pad that I'd chosen and that kind of more free flow style. So I'm going to take my Versamark ink. This is a great sticky ink to use with embossing, so I'm going to heat emboss this arrow. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that at the bottom of that banner that I just selected. Make sure that gets on there really good. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some white embossing powder. This is the Superfine White Powder by Ranger. It's a really fabulous embossing powder. It gets in all those details. And I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of that over that arrow on that banner and tap off the excess here. Make sure that everything got off there. I'll go ahead and take the extra. Oh, looks like first I'm going to go ahead and heat set that using my heat tool. Just melt that. I love embossing. It's like magic. My 8-year-old loves to do it. I think it makes her feel fancy when she gets to put embossed sentiments on her cards. And then I'm going to take all that extra powder that came off and put it back in my container. One container of this embossing powder lasts forever, I think, probably. I have never run out of one, so we'll see. The countdown continues. And now I decided that I wanted even a little bit something more to go with that banner there. So I went back to kind of trying to figure out what I was going to use. That was some shimmer trim from Close to My Heart, and I decided that color didn't really work as well as I liked, so I went back to that original glitzy paper and I just trimmed a really thin slice of that paper out. And I'm just going to go ahead and layer that underneath the banner, and I just kind of cut the end at an angle to put underneath there. And I'm just going to make this layer like a banner sandwich here for this scripty hello to sit on top of. So I think that I decided there that I like that. So now I'm going to start assembling my card. I apologize, my camera's kind of going in and out of focus there. Again, I'm working out the details on this video thing, so bear with me as I get that right. So now I went ahead and put that small piece down first, and now I'm going to stick that banner on there. Go ahead and use my tape runner to adhere these. I kind of put them off the edge a little bit because I like to do that and then use my scissors to trim it up, and that way I know that the edge is going to be even as opposed to trying to line it up perfectly on the edge. I'd rather just do it that way. It's easier for me to get everything straight. And then I'm taking my fingers and just kind of curling the ends of that banner just to add a little bit of dimension. And then I'm going to use my tape runner on the back of that crafty craft foam hello that I have there. And just adhere that right at the top of that banner and kind of hanging a little bit off the top. I thought that just was kind of a cute little place to put it there. So now the front of my card is complete. And now I just need to assemble the card onto the card base. So now I have my card base. I use Nina 110 pound Solar White, and I just made a standard A2 size card that is side folding, or maybe it's top folding, excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and line my front panel up with the top of that card base and just press that on there real nicely. And again, I'm going to trim off the extra because I always have extra. And now I am going to get out my collection of sequins and add even more sparkle to this already amazingly sparkly glitzy card with some Simon Says Stamp Moonshine sequins, and they're just these really fabulous iridescent-y clear sequins that add just enough shine but not overwhelming. And I'm going to go ahead and decide where I want those spread out over my card here and just kind of lay those in a random pattern. And then when I go to adhere these, you'll see that I use the micro glue dots. That's my favorite way to adhere sequins. I think that it just works really well to go ahead and squish that sequin right onto the glue dot and then onto the card. You don't have to worry about any messy liquid adhesive. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a really hard time with the quick stick tool. I can't ever seem to make it sticky. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I have trouble picking up those sequins that way. So I tend to always just use my fingers, and so far I have been doing okay with that, and so that's the way that I'll keep doing it. So now I've got all those sequins on there and my card is all glittery fabulous, and that is the card for today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by for my first crafty video. I hope to see you back here. If you like the video, hit subscribe and join me on social media. Thanks, bye!